Hello, and thank you for joining us today. I am Ben Riley, the program consultant from the Division of Assessment and Accountability Support, working with the Screen program. And today we're going to be doing our refresh training on OMS, Brigance, Infinite Campus, and everything related to Screen. Let's go ahead and jump in and look at our objectives for this training today. This training is going to focus on providing updates and procedures for the 2021-2022 school year and provide refresher training content for experienced staff. The training is going to review the ordering process, timeline, training requirements, Brigance Screen, Infinite Campus, online management system, and resources that are available to districts for a successful implementation of the Screen process. Let's go ahead and start by jumping into the ordering process first. This will be our second year using the ordering process directly through Curriculum Associates. There is a simple spreadsheet that is downloaded from Curriculum Associates website. After saving this form, email the copy of the spreadsheet you've worked on to the address fulfillmentops, all one word, at cainc.com. Curriculum Associates is supposed to send you a confirmation email upon receipt of that. Make sure you check your junk folder or spam folder in case it ends up there. And if you have trouble getting in connection with them, reach out and contact me at KDE. Also keep in mind that Spanish directions are available and you can ask for them on the form as well for translators to use. Be sure to get those back after they are loaned out. Here's a screenshot of the Curriculum Associates Kentucky webpage. Here you will find the test as you scroll down the screen that says 2021 ordering form. Click on this to download the Excel spreadsheet to begin the ordering process for your district. Directions for ordering will provide a downloadable PDF with directions for ordering should you need guidance in how the process works. Additionally, we have a video available on our Screen website that provides directions as well. Training information will take you to the training video clips referenced later in this presentation. Once you download the order form and open the spreadsheet, this is the first page. It's a good idea to have the direction form or video that I've created next to you as you navigate the form. There are 3 tabs at the bottom of the spreadsheet. The first is the Instructions tab. This is where you choose the district that you are from or in from the drop-down box. You must use that drop-down box and cannot type in your district name. After choosing your district, you move to the next tab on the bottom, which says Quantities. This page will pre-populate the buildings in your district that house kindergarten students. If you look along the top, there are columns with questions to answer. One column asks how many new classrooms are opening. New is defined as how many additional classrooms are needed that were not existing last year. A great example would be if you have additional kindergarten students because this is a larger class than normal, or you are over cap and have to increase the number of classrooms, then this is what would be defined as new. If you have a new building that is opening and consolidation is happening, so for example, 2 schools are closing and moving into 1 new location, this is not the definition of new. Those classrooms existed before, but are simply changing location. I encourage you to look and use your current enrollment numbers when answering the about how many students to be screened question. Only request the additional sets of Spanish directions if you have lost or misplaced your original set. There's no need to request new directions each year. Remember, you can reuse these. The would you like new data sheets shipped question is a simple yes or no question. If you plan on screening with tablets, you will choose no. Before answering yes, I ask that you do take a quick inventory of how many data sheets the district has in possession before requesting more. After answering each column on the quantities page, you move forward to the final tab here called Shipping. Each location will appear, and you will decide where you would like the materials shipped. They can go to each individual site or to one location. Save the form according to the directions and email again fulfillmentops, all one word, at cainc.com. Again, reference the directions in the document or the video while completing this process to ensure a smooth ordering process for your district. Also, please note that typically the Brigance related supplies will arrive late May. When selecting the destination for your shipment, please make sure that you will have a district employee who will be present to receive it at the location you selected. Let's talk about the timeline or proposed timeline for the 2021-2022 year ahead. We have been accepting orders since March 1st, and we're going to continue to accept them through March 16th, using the process previously explained. Again, those supplies ordered do arrive in late May, so you need to begin planning your district trainings between June and August after they arrive. Also note the August 10th date of OMS accounts being available to districts. That is a projected date, and it is possible it could change. One of the most important tools that you have in completing the case screen process is our implementation guide. This is revised every year and linked to our kindergarten or our Kentucky Common Entry Screener webpage. I encourage you and your school level administrators to all review and refer to this document with questions. This year, we've even made an addition of Appendix O. Appendix O contains quick reference guides for staff administering the case screen to students and data entry clerks. Please consult this guide whenever you have a question or are unsure of something related to case screen. If you find you still need assistance, please reach out and contact me. Feel free to send me feedback about topics missing from this guide as well. I want to make it as useful as possible for all districts in Kentucky. Now that we've reviewed the implementation guide briefly, let's talk about our training requirements this year. The training requirements we have is that new district trainers must attend our 6-hour training of training module presented by Curriculum Associates. Previously, that if you looked on our timeline, we have one scheduled for March 26th and are accepting people signing up for that up until March 24th. And we will also have one on July 22nd. New teachers administering the screen need to attend a 3-hour session provided by the district trainer. We know that this year you may not be able to do that in person, and it is acceptable this year to offer that virtually to your teachers. Experienced district trainers must watch our webcast refresher, which is what you're viewing right now. And experienced teachers administering the screen must receive a 1-hour refresher provided by their district trainer. And all new and experienced data entry staff must annually review the training materials hosted on the Common Kindergarten Entry Screener webpage. Also, for those of you who are experienced trainers, you may use this presentation and any portion of it as a resource in giving your trainings to your district. Each year, anyone who administers, manages, or enters data is required to take some type of training. It's required that you keep sign-in sheets and agendas of each training on file for 1 year or from one training until the next. There's an implementation agreement that also must be signed by each person trained. This is located on our website or inside the implementation guide under Appendix A. Let's talk about the Brigance Screen. First step in your Brigance Screen is determine your screening window. As you plan to order materials, it is important to take into consideration your screening window. The window may begin no earlier than 15 calendar days before the first day of school and cannot exceed the 30th instructional day. Keep in mind that all the data must be entered into the OMS and Infinite Campus within 15 days after the window closing, but no later than October 15th regardless. If you used the Brigance to pre-screen students in early registration, those results cannot be used, as the screen was not administered during the official window. You would have to rescreen in that scenario. It is also important to ensure if you screen students before school begins, you are within this window as it is regulated by law. Be sure to plan screening that conflict screening that can or sorry, excuse me. Be sure not to plan that screening where it conflicts with district or school professional development days as well. If you're using this as a resource, feel free to pause here and plan your district screening window. Now let's talk about collecting prior settings data. This is something you could be doing now or in a regular year in the spring. But regardless, it should be on your radar. If not, make sure to collect prior settings data during kindergarten kickoff events and open house. A letter and form, which are located on our case screen website or in the implementation guide, simply ask parents or guardians to let us know what setting the enrolling student was in the year prior to kindergarten. They may be home, private, sitter, daycare, preschool, Head Start, or if the student was retained, it could even be kindergarten. If you are not receiving parent input, pull the rosters from preschool and Head Start to use in conjunction with the parent form. This information can be collected at any time. It may be that repeating kindergarten students have their prior setting listed as kindergarten, as previously mentioned. Repeating kindergarten students will be screened again, just as all other students. Historically, that's not been the case, but please be sure to communicate that to teachers and to those doing the screening, that all students will be screened or rescreened in this case. Let's talk about the staff file. The district assessment coordinator will access the spreadsheet from the KDE Secure Web Applications site at Choose Student Data Detail. It will be in both an Excel or PDF format. The staff file is included in one zip file, and it will look to or have the label of SD21 underscore with your district number, underscore K underscore screen, underscore, and then your district name, and then XLSX. If you are unable to access the KDE Secure Application site, please check with your WAA POC and or contact the KDE Help Desk. The Help Desk, if you need to reach them, can be reached via phone at 502-564-2002. Your district spreadsheet will be pre-populated with information submitted for the 2021-2022 school year. This year, please review and make corrections or additions as needed. Then email the updated staff file to KDE Assessment. This must be completed by June 15th, and this information will be provided in the April K-Screen update. We're also making a change this year to the staff file that you would only enter information for administrators and data entry clerks. Teacher data does not need to be input into the staff file. That information will come from Infinite Campus. Now let's talk about materials. If you're using this training as a resource for your district, please take a moment here and use this as a checklist to make sure you have all the materials you need for a K-Screen screener. Let's go ahead and jump to the next slide now. We're going to review some, this slide reviews the notes on kindergarten core assessments, and you can find this on page 29 of the implementation guide as well. Let's talk about those core assessments now. Remember that it is crucial to abide by directions exactly as written in the manual. Maintain consistency, screen all students the same exact way procedurally. Adhere to the discontinue points throughout the screener. It may be helpful to place post-its as tabs on the places in the screen for quick reference. Be sure to review the implementation guide as well before beginning and keep it handy as another quick point of reference. You can also, again, consult our new quick reference guides if you are administering a screen, and those are found under Appendix O. Let's now discuss the self-help and social emotional scales. You can provide this to parents, or you can complete the self-help and social emotional scales through an interview if you think that will be more productive. You have the script in your training manual. Keep a list of the students who haven't returned it yet, though, as this is important to administer during the window. If after multiple attempts to collect, you still don't have this, a teacher may complete this, and each item must have a response. I know some districts like to screen using iPads, so let's talk about that for a moment. This is a method that some districts use to enter scores directly into the OMS. This would only be an option after mid-August when the OMS is live. We will let districts know when the OMS is live and operational. Teachers would need to have a backup tablet or iPad on hand in the event the tablet loses charge, loses internet connection, or has some form of technical difficulty. Teachers also need to be ready and trained to record information in the paper format should the internet connection fail. Information can then be input later, similar to the typical K-screen process. The results are entered as the student is screened. If this method is used, please make sure that the student results are printed and placed in the student's permanent record. This is a vital part of the screen, and the data must be entered during the testing window. Let's talk about non-participation students. We know that there are those circumstances that arise and students whom are unable to test. If you have a student you think will be approved for a medical non-participation, please contact me for the next steps in the SDRR. In other words, if they will be enrolled but are not participating in the screen, your BAC or building assessment coordinator will be able to assist you with entering this too. I often get questions regarding nonverbal students. When considering nonverbal students, it's important to remember that this is a screener and not an assessment with accountability. It is okay if a student cannot respond correctly to every prompt. Teachers can still gain a lot of valuable information during this screen. After consultation with our accommodation specialist and consulting the Brigance manual, our guidance is to at least attempt the test, possibly enlisting the assistance of someone familiar with the child's communication methods. If a student cannot answer something, just mark the data sheet appropriately and move to the next item. If there is a reason the student should not participate in the screener, you are welcome to make a non-participation request in the SDRR, and it will be reviewed. Let's go ahead and take a moment and talk about Infinite Campus. In order for Brigance data to be entered into the online management system, Infinite Campus information has to be set up correctly. This is crucial. Data files are extracted from Infinite Campus and create files in the Online Management System, or OMS, for student assignment and assessment data. It is very important for communication and collaboration to happen between your district, Infinite Campus contact, and the person that will enter the new kindergarten screening data into Infinite Campus, and to ensure things are set up correctly from the beginning. This will save you a lot of time and stress during the screening window by going through this and making sure it's done correctly. The Infinite Campus K-Screen reference guide that will be most helpful when setting up and troubleshooting issues with OMS and Infinite Campus can be found in Appendix M in the K-Screen implementation guide. If you should ever experience problems of finding a student that is missing an OMS, having a student move, or any other issues concerning the student appearing in OMS, please consult Appendix M immediately. This, along with the implementation guide, should prove helpful when setting up students in Infinite Campus. Other OMS issues that I've seen that are commonplace is a student could be assigned to a teacher in OMS, but that teacher may have another class location that is listed that is not correct. We also have seen multiple issues concerning student names using the suffix junior inside the last name instead of the suffix field. Using our Appendix M guide, you can easily troubleshoot many of those common issues and sort them out. Let's talk about entering prior setting data into Infinite Campus. Prior setting data should be collected prior to the screening process. It is important to collect this information during kickoff events, kindergarten open houses, back to school camps, and it can be placed in registration packets as well. This is entered into Infinite Campus, and those data entry clerks must watch the videos associated with prior setting. When entering the data, it is important to only account for the setting 1 year prior. Let's spend some time discussing OMS, or Online Management System, now. The Online Management System is a tool for entering Brigance data. Both core assessment data and social, emotional, and self-help scales will be entered into the OMS. The OMS resets each year, and all data will be pulled from IC into the OMS. The staff file that is due in June is the first step in Curriculum Associates setting up the OMS accounts for your district and schools. Once Curriculum Associates receives that file, they will set up the school and class lists as well as the user and teacher list. Before sending it, it is important to check: 1, are all schools listed and teachers at each school? And 2, are teachers listed and are the email addresses correct? A common issue that we've come across with teacher email addresses is occasionally a personal email address would be entered as the primary email address and not the district email address. If you notice that on the Infinite Campus account, correcting that could prevent multiple issues from occurring. Here's an example of the school and class list. In this sample, you're going to see Adair County. The district is listed as level 1. Adair County Primary is the school, and it is listed as level 2. And level 3 would be each teacher that belongs to the building. The names are blank. It is also important to check the user list. These users are teachers, data entry clerks, and administrators that need access to the OMS. It's important that the email addresses are correct as well. Infinite Campus feeds data to OMS. The staff file is pulled from Infinite Campus to populate the class and user lists in the OMS. Every week during the screening season, a new student file from Infinite Campus is uploaded into the OMS. Due to the 1-week lag and the 1-week lag between syncing district and state editions of Infinite Campus, the changes made are not usually seen for 2 weeks sometimes. That's why it's critical for schools to communicate with you about missing or incorrect students in OMS immediately. The weekly refresh doesn't work for users and classes, only students. This is also the only way students are uploaded into the OMS. It's important to note too that KDE cannot manually add or remove a student in the OMS system. Before contacting me, please again go back and check that Appendix M I've referenced previously in the implementation guide to ensure all the proper steps have been followed in Infinite Campus for the proper exporting of student data into the OMS. The data entry process is simple, but attention to detail is a must for a successful outcome with little to no error. The next few slides, we're going to go over that process for entering data in OMS. We're going to use Lucy Johnson as a fictional student. To begin entering the data for Lucy, the user will click the Enter New Screening Data on the right side of the screen, middle of the page. This is the only time the user will choose this feature, only when no screening information is entered. The core assessment data page will come up, and users will enter the student results from the student data sheet, or if screening with tablets, users will enter as they go. Users have a cancel, save, and submit to score button. It is important to save information, but should always click the submit to score. It will not finalize the submission, and you can still edit and add information. Users can save if they choose, but it never hurts to click that submit button. If a user submits again later, it won't throw off the data if they didn't create a duplicate screening record. And in the event they do create a duplicate screening record, we also do have guidance on how to clean up duplicate data provided on our K-Screen website. The same goes for the self-help and social emotional scales. After entering that data, users will submit. Again, it never hurts to hit submit because it will save as well. Once all data is entered, submit must be clicked on the core assessments tab and the self-help and social emotional scales tab. Many times, users entering the screening or the screening data fail to finish entering all the data, or they enter everything and fail to hit the submit to score button. It's important to know that the submit turns to submit to score once all information is entered for each part. The core assessment and the self-help social emotional scales, especially. Make sure that users click submit to score, otherwise it appears that the student has not been screened on reports. Now, look closely at Lucy's profile. Users can confirm that Lucy's core assessments are completely entered because the status is submitted. Users also see that the self-help and social emotional scales are not complete. Users can tell that because the status is saved. Probably if someone decides to stop entering data and wants to continue is how this happened. You will want to not enter new screening data if this happens. This is crossed out on the green. Instead, the user will click into the assessment as the green arrow points to continue entering data. Or it may be that it simply was not submitted to score. But where the green arrow is pointing is where you would like to click to resolve that issue. Something that is a very common error is duplicate entries. Duplicate entries must be removed from the OMS in order to ensure data accuracy. Not removing the duplicate entry impacts the results of group screening data. Again, as I previously mentioned, we've developed guidance for fixing this, and it can be accessed using the link at the bottom of this slide and found on our K-Screen webpage. This is the ultimate end result for each student profile. Submitted on each section, it indicates that the data is complete and nothing is missing, and each has submitted. Let's go ahead now and look at what OMS reports look like. This is a screened, not screened report, and it is perfect for checking whether a child has saved data that hasn't been submitted. But be aware, it will say submitted even if the self-help and social emotional scales data is missing. This looks at the core assessment data only. We talked earlier a lot about the importance of clicking that submit to score button. You will want that pie to be all green that you see in the photo. You should not have any blue unless you're still entering data. At the end of your data entry window, there should be no blue. Blue indicates the saved status. If you do have some that are saved but not submitted, you can look for the specific students by exporting your report as a CSV file and filtering the screening status column for saved. Or you can scroll through the list provided under the pie chart. As you can see, the saved list will be included in the list. Simply open that student screen and click Submit for the scoring. Let's talk about OMS reports and checking the data a little more. It is really important too that we utilize that CSV file. The CSV file is the only way to check for duplicate entries again. This helps you find them quickly, and it's the most efficient way. You can sort by SSID or name, and you can set rules to highlight duplicates. Let's talk about some reminders for this. Your OMS account may look perfect in early August, but it may not be operational. There are often issues that need to be resolved before student data can be entered. KDE will communicate when the OMS is ready to be used in a K-Screen update. This is important to know if you are screening with tablets or iPads. Also, in the past, we've had several schools try to get ahead of the game by setting up a homeroom under a school administrator's name so they could screen on iPads and sort the kids into homerooms later. The kids, unfortunately, did not move automatically, and they had to manually move the students to the correct classes, which created a lot of extra work for them to complete. That's why it's best to wait for KDE to announce that the OMS is ready and fully functioning before inputting student data. Make sure as well to avoid duplicate entries by only clicking on the new screening session one time. Run reports frequently to ensure all data is entered and submitted. And make sure that the Submit to Score button is clicked for the assessment and it is considered complete. And again, just remember that the CSV file allows for easy filtering of reports and for quickly sorting out any issues that may arise in understanding your student data. Let's talk about those resources that are available to you so you can have a successful K-Screen implementation. Here are the important resources for the district to use to review and communicate with the appropriate people, such as those administering the screens in the classroom, principals, Infinite Campus district contacts, data entry staff, secretaries, Infinite Campus building individuals, attendance clerks, and DACs and BACs. These videos are important for viewing in order to familiarize yourselves with the OMS. These go well beyond the highlights provided in this training. Remember, these slides can be used in full or in part for the 3-hour new screen training and the refresher training that is provided by your district trainer. All are great for district trainings, but the Common Pitfalls video, Part 10, is required. For your 3-hour district training, I also strongly recommend using Part 3, Part 4, and Part 6, along with Part 10 in your planned training. Let's talk about access to those training videos. If you need to access the training videos, go to brigance.com/Kentucky. You will simply click on the training information button. And also, to help you keep everything straight, in addition to this, there's in addition to this website, once you go in, you will have a folder to access given through Curriculum Associates, your implementation guide, and all training materials you may need to complete district level trainings at your district. Here's a slide 2 if you're using this to help you guide and develop your own trainings. I'll let you take just a moment. Maybe you need to look at this and jot a few notes down, and then we'll move to the next slide. Let's look at some of the requirements and steps you should be taking now and at different times of the year and different places to enter the data and complete all K-Screen related tasks. While it's not a difficult process, there's a lot of detailed information to the K-Screen process. So we've broken it down with what needs to be done now or very soon. Take a moment to review that information. Now let's talk about the next steps. Once you've completed what we looked at on the previous slide, it's time to plan the next steps. These steps provide an overview, or these points provide an overview of what comes next. Again, please use all the resources that are available to help you navigate the K-Screen implementation. I think it is important to know that you should share the results with families. We pull the data to report school readiness, and it is included in your district's open house data found on the KDE website. Once we have all data, we report that on the KDE Open House webpage, which is found at openhouse.education.ky.gov. Click on the supplemental data, and that brings you to the supplemental data page. Kindergarten readiness is then an option. The data is provided in various ways for you to review. I'd like to take the time to make sure to thank you for joining me today for this refresh training. I've appreciated that, and I would also please stay on because shortly we're going to be having a question and answer session if you are on the live stream. If you have any questions, concerns, or I can help you in any way to have a successful K-Screen implementation, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can email or contact me via phone. Have a wonderful day.